Alright, before I start, I just gotta say, the reason why you guys perceive me and look at me weird and you guys don't help me is because it's whatever you want to perceive. It's whatever you think is. Just because I'm not around you 24/7 doesn't mean I'm the bad guy in your life. It's actually the quite opposite. But I'm not blaming anybody else. I'm trying to survive, stay away from people. I could be a hero in somebody else's story while I'm an enemy in your story. Whose side are you on, though? Is a real question. Are you with Jesus or without? Because me, personally, I'm with. It's not about what the person does. It's about the lifestyle. No one is perfect. You guys only pay attention to my breaking points. You guys only pay attention to my breaking points. You don't pay attention to what I'm actually trying to do. It doesn't matter the character. It doesn't matter what I'm doing. It doesn't matter if I'm doing good or I'm doing bad. It doesn't matter if I'm falling back into drinking or if I'm singing worship songs on the side of the road. Okay? It doesn't matter. What matters is I'm actually trying to live the life of Jesus Christ. It's the lifestyle. Worshipping Jesus means not the act of doing it, but sacrificing one's self and denying oneself to save and help others that are in need of Jesus. Now I need everybody to wake up and think for once. I'm tired. My bones will never get tired, but I'm tired mentally. I need you guys to wake up. Guys, girls, whoever's watching, wake up and use your brain. Anyway, back to the reading. The Festival of Tabernacles. On the 15th day of the 7th month, hold a sacrifice assembly and do no regular work. Celebrate a festival to the Lord for 7 days. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 13 young bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With each of the 13 bulls, offer a grain offering of 3/10 of an ephah of the finest flour mixed with olive oil. With each of the 2 rams, 2/10, and with each of the 14 lambs, 1/10. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 2nd day, offer 12 young bulls, 2 rams, and 14 young lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and the drink offerings. On the 3rd day, offer 11 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs, a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 4th day, offer 10 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the numbers specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 5th day, offer 9 bulls, 2 rams, and 14 male lambs a year old, without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer the grain offerings and drink offerings, according to the number specified. Include one male goat as a sin offering in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 6th day, offer 8 bulls, 2 rams, 14 young... Keep doing that. 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old. I'm speaking too fast. All without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer the grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include one male goat for a sin as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. On the 7th day, offer 7 bulls, 2 rams, 14 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With the bulls, rams, and lambs, offer the grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified, including one male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering, with his grain offering and drink offering. On the 8th day, hold a closing special assembly and do no regular work. Present as an aroma pleasing to the Lord a food offering consisting of a burnt offering of 1 bull, 1 ram, and 7 male lambs a year old, all without defect. With all the bull, with the ram, and all the lambs, offer their grain offerings and drink offerings according to the number specified. Include 1 male goat as a sin offering, in addition to the regular burnt offering with its grain offering and drink offering. In addition to what you vow and your free will offerings, offer these to the Lord at the appointed festivals. Your burnt offerings, grain offerings, drink offerings, and fellowship offerings. Moses told the Israelites all that the Lord commanded him. Moses said to the heads of the tribes of Israel, "This is what the Lord commands. When a man makes a vow to the Lord or takes an oath to obligate himself by a pledge, he must not break his word, but must do everything he said. When a young woman still living in her father's household makes a vow to the Lord or obligates herself by a pledge, and her father hears about her vow or pledge but says nothing to her, then all her vows and every pledge with which she obligated herself will stand. But if her father forbids her when he hears about it, none of her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. The Lord will release her because her father has forbidden her. If she marries after she makes a vow, or after her lips utter a rash promise by which she obligates herself, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her, then her vows or her pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband forbids her when he hears about it, he nullifies the vow that obligates her to the rash promise by which she obligated herself, and the Lord will release her. Any vow or obligation taken by a widow or divorced woman will be binding on her. If a woman living with her husband makes a vow or obligates herself by a pledge under oath, and her husband hears about it but says nothing to her and does not forbid her, then all her vows or the pledges by which she obligated herself will stand. But if her husband nullifies them when he hears about them, and none of the vows or pledges that came from her lips will stand, her husband will be nullified. Her husband has nullified them, and the Lord will release her. Her husband may confirm or nullify any vow she makes or any sworn pledge to deny herself. But if her husband says nothing to her about it from day to day, then he confirms all her vows or the pledges binding on her. He confirms them by saying nothing to her when he hears about them. If, however, he nullifies them sometime after he hears about them, then he must bear the consequences of her wrongdoing. These are the regulations the Lord gave to Moses concerning the relationships between a man and his wife, and between a father and his young daughter still living at home. Vengeance on the Midianites. The Lord said to Moses, "Take vengeance on the Midianites for the Israelites. After that you will be gathered to your people." So Moses said to the people, "Arm some of your men to go to war against the Midianites, so that they may carry out the Lord's vengeance on them. Send into battle 1,000 men from each of the tribes of Israel." So 12,000 men armed for battle, 1,000 men from each tribe, were supplied from the clans of Israel. Moses set them into battle, 1,000 from each tribe, along with Phinehas, son of Eleazar, the priest, who took with him articles from the sanctuary and the trumpets for signaling. They fought against Midian, as the Lord commanded Moses, and they killed every man. Among their victims were Evi, Rechem, Zer, Hir, and Reba. The 5 kings of Midian. They also killed Balaam, son of Beor, with the sword. The Israelites captured the Midianite women and children and took all the Midianite herds, flocks, and goods as plunder. They burned all the towns where the Midianites had settled, as well as their camps. They took all the plunder and spoils, including the people and animals, and they brought the captives, spoils, and plunder to Moses and Eleazar, to Moses and Eleazar, the priest, and the Israelite assembly at their camp on the plains of Moab, by the Jordan across from Jericho. Moses, Eleazar, Moses, Eleazar the priest, and all the leaders of the community went to meet them outside the camp. Moses was angry with the officers of the army, the commanders of thousands and the commanders of hundreds, who returned from the battle. Have you allowed all the women to live? He asked them. They were the ones who followed Balaam's advice and enticed the Israelites to be unfaithful to the Lord. In the Peor incident, so that a plague struck the Lord's people, now kill all the boys and kill every woman who has slept with a man, but save for yourselves every girl who has never slept with a man. Anyone who has killed someone or touched someone who was killed must stay outside the camp 7 days. On the 3rd and 7th days, you must purify yourselves and your captives. Purify every garment as well as everything made of leather, goat, hair, or wood. Then Eleazar, the priest, to the soldiers had gone to battle. This is what is required by law that the Lord gave Moses. Gold, silver, bronze, iron, tin, lead, and anything else that can withstand fire must be put through fire. Then it will be clean. But it must also be purified with the water of cleansing. And whatever cannot stand fire must be put through that water. On the 7th day, wash your clothes, and you will be clean. Then you may come into the camp. Dividing the spoils. The Lord said to Moses, the family heads of the community are to count all the people and animals that were captured. Divide the spoils equally between the soldiers who took part in the battle and the rest of the community. From the soldiers who fought in the battle, set apart as tribute for the Lord 1 out of every 500, whether people, cattle, donkeys, or sheep. Take this tribute from their half share and give it to Eleazar, priest, as the Lord's part. From the Israelites' half, select 1 out of every 50, whether people, cattle, donkeys, sheep, or other animals. Give them to the Levites, who are responsible for the care of the Lord's tabernacle. So Moses and Eleazar, the priest, did as the Lord commanded Moses. The plunder remaining from the spoils that the soldiers took was 675,000 sheep, 72,000 cattle, 61,000 donkeys, and 32,000 women who had never slept with a man. The half share of those who fought in the battle was 337,500 sheep, of which the tribute for the Lord was 675. 36,000 cattle, of which the tribute for the Lord was 72. 30,500 donkeys, which the tribute for the Lord was 61. 16,000 people, whom the tribute for the Lord was 32. Moses gave the tribute to Eleazar the priest as the Lord's part, as the Lord commanded Moses, the half belonging to the Israelites, which Moses had set apart of that fight, set apart from that of the fighting men. The community's half was 337,500 sheep, 36,000 cattle, 30,500 donkeys, and 16,000 people. From the Israelites' half, Moses selected one of every 50 people and animals as the Lord commanded him, and gave them to the Levites, who were responsible for the care of the Lord's tabernacle. Then the officers who were over the units of the army, commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, went to Moses and said to him, "Your servants have counted all the soldiers under our command, and not one is missing. So we have brought as an offering to the Lord the gold articles of us acquired, our articles each of us required: armlets, bracelets, signet rings, earrings, and necklaces, to make atonement for ourselves before the Lord." Moses and Eleazar the priest accepted from the gold all the crafted articles, all the gold from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds that Moses and Eleazar presented as a gift to the Lord, weighing 16,750 shekels. Each soldier had taken plunder for himself. Moses and Eleazar the priest accepted the gold from the commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds, and brought it into the tent of meeting as a memorial for the Israelites before the Lord. Now, the Transjordan tribes, I'm going to get to that tomorrow. I'm out of time. I'll see y'all in the next video.